How to the Successful Marketing Pie. Hi, I'm Kalyn and I am co-founder of livingintheflow.com for business in this case. I'm also co-founder of Gerber Global Marketing, a marketing firm. In this video, we're going to talk about what the marketing pie chart is in case you aren't familiar, and you might benefit from understanding what that is. What's missing out of the middle of my pie chart? And how do you, in your business, cut your pie so that it works for you? So what is the marketing pie chart? The idea of a marketing pie chart is to try to help an entrepreneur or a business to understand what should be included in their marketing plan. So when you look at it, it's the idea of time allocation or resources and where it is that they should be spending their time and how much time they should be spending on each piece of the marketing. Now, for most any business, but not all, I would say that most businesses should include the basics such as email marketing, social media marketing, website and blog marketing, and advertising. What's missing in the middle of this pie chart, and why is something missing? Well, an entrepreneur recently asked me. She was told that when she was introduced to the pie idea, that she should start with 1 or 2 slices of pie, get better at them, feel confident before moving on to the next slice, and she wanted to know where she should start. I thought it was a really good question, but I pointed out that there's something missing in the middle. Well, first, let's start with the fact that your website should be the #1 thing that you've got there. Because if you don't have a website, it's like saying you don't have a brick and mortar. It's like saying you don't have a business. And in today's modern age, if you don't have a website, you almost don't have an online business. That's changing some, but a lot of us still expect that you have a website to show us who you are, what you do, what your business offers. And so it becomes a real fundamental, a place for people to come and visit your store, sort of thing. Whether you are a business with a store or not, it's like a virtual brick and mortar. Next, the pie chart is empty when you don't have an audience. In other words, who are you going to send your emails to, or when you post an update, who's going to see it if you don't have an audience built? Well, from that perspective, that whole pie chart, to me, loses a lot of validity if you don't understand that you have to build an audience. Otherwise, you can spend all the time making the greatest pie chart, allocating your time and resources perfectly, but with no one to receive the marketing message, your business is not going to be able to grow. So I would say you need to really make sure that you know how to grow your business. So once you do have some of those things in place, how do you cut your pie up? How do you allocate and decide? Because everyone has a different opinion about what different parts of marketing should be in each different piece of pie. So what's right for you in your business is really different than someone else's business, and certainly than what someone else will tell you. Well, let me give you another example. For example, SEO. Some pie charts include SEO, and that might be right for some businesses, and it is right for some businesses. But more and more, it's not as beneficial for small businesses. Why? Because it can be very expensive, because it's so detailed, and Google has changed so many of its algorithms that it's very time intensive. It also can take some time before you see results, like months, sometimes almost a year. And so you can be putting in easily $1,000 a month into your SEO without seeing results for a while. It doesn't necessarily make sense, especially because if you aren't going to show in the first couple of positions on a result page, on a search engine result page, then chances are you're not going to be seen. And that's because if I'm selling pies and I do SEO for my website, unless I'm on page 1 in those first few positions, very few people are going to click through to page 2, page 3, page 4, and very few people are also going to scroll down that first page and pick position 10. So if my website and my business are in position 10, I'm going to capture very few clicks, very few people coming to my website. If I'm on page 2, it's even less. So in that sense, SEO isn't really necessarily going to work. And you shouldn't necessarily be a part of your marketing plan depending on your business. It's perfect and very important for some businesses, but not always as important for small businesses. For small businesses, sometimes it's more important to ask the following questions. To determine what should be in your pie slices and what size your slices should be, ask yourself, where's my audience? Because if you're really looking for consumers who really want to learn about food and nutrition, maybe an alternate sweetener in my pie, well, that might be more easily found on social sites. If you don't know who your audience is, you're going to have a real difficult time. Because, for example, if the kind of pie that I sell, apple pie, really is something that's consumed by people from the ages of 20 to 30, that's going to be a different social site than teenagers. For example, if I sell skateboards or makeup to young adults, I might be more interested in Instagram. If I sell paintings or nice clothes, I might be more interested in Pinterest. It all depends on who your audience is. That's real important to know. Is your target audience a consumer and more likely on the social sites, or a business, in which case you might want to look at LinkedIn? So, for example, if you are selling pies, again, you really want to be on a social site. On the other hand, if you sell office products, for example, you're not as likely to find the clients that you want on Facebook. You may very well find them, but if your target is to find other businesses to really help them fill their office with the office supplies they need and their higher purchases, that kind of thing, then you're probably better off on LinkedIn. So it's really important to understand whether your audience is a consumer or a business. That changes how you write to them and where you find them. Next, one of the most important questions also is, how can I position myself or my business as an expert before my target audience? So that you're showing up before your audience and so that you're showing up as that expert, you really need to know where your audience is, and you also really need to know how to position yourself, because you really don't want to portray yourself as an expert or an author on LinkedIn if you're selling apple pies, kind of thing. I mean, maybe that works if you're selling to restaurants, but do you see what I'm saying? You really need to know your audience, and you really need to know how to come across in that sense as a professional. But we can always get into that more in another future video. So any questions or comments, I hope? Share the wisdom. Please be sure to like the video or share the video. And then if you're wondering how to position yourself as an expert, or if you're wondering how to grow your audience specifically in your industry, please write to me. You can either use the Contact Us on one of my websites, or you can write in the space provided on the YouTube videos. I'd love to hear what questions you have. I'd love to hear how I can help you to grow your business so that you can grow your life.